strange. I now find myself in a location where the term roads is a very loose and generously abstract description for the barely navigable paths which blend seamlessly into the mountain wilderness I find myself in. After my initial departure from the Shadow People, I somehow ended up in Stewart, British Columbia, a small northern town in the BC provincial highlands bordering Alaska. Enraptured by the stark beauty and the solitude of the area, I was fortunate enough to find a long-term lease for a winterized log cabin located in the northwestern shore of Clements Lake. It was approximately 15 kilometers north of Stewart, but far enough away from civilization to satisfy my desire for infrequent human interaction, unless of course I needed to get into town for supplies. The cabin is now the one place, apart from the cockpit, where I feel at home. No cell service, notwithstanding the satellite phone in my emergency bag, but no unwanted visitors. Just the whisper of the wind through the trees and the occasional moose or deer mistaking my porch for a rest stop. I may have unshackled myself from the chains of corporate flight, but I still needed to make a living. A man still has to eat after all. I certainly had no desire to avail myself of the meals and legs which regularly sauntered past the front door of my cabin. I was fortunate to have sufficient savings squared away prior to me arriving in Stewart, enough to acquire a really ancient but well-maintained de Havilland DHC-2 beaver. I was even able to barter for some whipline amphibious floats, and I have now parked the plane in one of the hangars at Stewart's tiny airport. This is basically now my new base of operations. I find myself flying mining equipment to camps where the only road was the hastily cleared space for me to land my plane. We're getting medical supplies to outposts where a recent snowstorm could mean life or death. Sometimes it was just mail, letters from one lonely soul to another, bridging the vast emptiness of the north. After completing jobs like these, I always try and make my way back to my cabin hideaway. I needed to rest and rejuvenate, abiding by the only schedule that matters, the rising and setting of the sun.